Yeah, what's going on, friends? Good to see you, Esther, Callie, Ginger's moms. Today's going to be an interesting show, friends. It's going to be entertaining because I've taken the script, Janie McKenzie's 2.5 hour Facebook messages, the audio file, and I transcribed it into sections to itemize each particular set of statements that she made. It's a breakdown, and it's a lot easier to go back and remind us what it is that she said. And each segment is entertaining, sad, enlightening, and allows us a window into understanding the circumstances and the living conditions on Gairloch Road. It's Sunday, February 1st, and I'm so happy that you all are here, Sweet Tea. It's good to see you, and Anastasia, of course. Kelly, 09, Word to the Streets, Helicopter Grandma, of course. Wow, AB, that must have been a lot of work. Not really. No, these are the great things about AI. You can take transcripts and all the words and now remember, Google Translate isn't the most dependable thing in the world. So it's up there in the 99 percentile usually. You just got to anticipate it and watch it. And it's okay if you already know the information. But as far as gathering information in order to turn around and analyze it in a different manner, because as you can tell, it's very difficult listening to Janie after a while. Your bias tends to get up. You start to get in your emotions, angry at the tone of her voice. But when you put it on paper in front of you, as in write those words out, and you read them in your head and you read them to yourself, things stand out to you a lot more clearly as opposed to imagining them. And it sounds boring, and it sounds like you all already know this, and you should know this, but we all need a refresher. I'm just describing what it helped me do. I've spent most of the day reading through it and thinking about things. And I know that you guys will feel the same way about it. Not that that's the only entertaining thing that's going to be happening in the next little bit. But I mean, for 2.5 hours, it's not going to be me racing through reading this. Each segment, each statement says something that we're able to break down, understand the red flags, the deception within these statements. They stick out to us. But better yet, knowing about the charges that are coming up against Daniel Martel and his arraignments on March 2nd, next month. It allows us to understand the circumstances leading up to what we suspect as Daniel bringing harm to Jack and Lily to hurt Malaya in the long run. Part of the power and control that he was so thirsty for. Happy Sunday, Daniel. Good to see you. Not that Daniel, the Daniel in my chat. Oh my God. Yeah, I've been having fun. I can't help it, guys. I hate certain things and how people use AI in certain ways. You don't need to let it do the thinking for you, okay? But I'm telling you, when you can have a lot of laughs trying to find some creative things. I do it when I'm listening to other people like Mike DeMann or Ninchi or Justin, even Dolly. When I'm interested in the topics that they're talking about, I'm in there and certain things pop into my mind and I go and put them in Grok and I generate out a gem like the thumbnail that we have today. Oh my God, that's so fantastic. That's exactly what it was made for. I read that comment just a little earlier in my comment section. I can't agree more. 1,001 new ways to troll. Oh my God. Before we start, I guess I'll do it as we go. I ran it through what they call, how should I do this? So I pulled the transcript, the one that we listen to, the one that we go to all the time. It's 2.5 hours. You can get it on Ninchies. You can go over and get it on Adventures Underwater UK. We take sound bits from it all the time, like this one.
Yes, the only time they go anywhere.
You're already mad, I can tell. So am I. You're already triggered. I'm already triggered listening to her. It's hard sometimes, even though we love sound bites. So this entire script, I went and I analyzed the provided transcript through using Grok, of course. And I don't recommend solely using it to do your statement analysis. I use it to explore other areas of statement analysis away from Pleas. And it's not magic, friends. It's a lot of new words often because maybe you're not used to them. But we can refer to them for the sake of this conversation as scientific content analysis. It uses the acronym SCAN, SCAN. And it's simply focusing on linguistic cues such as inconsistencies, repetitions, evasions, and extraneous information. Guys, you guys in my chat do this all the time. There's an acronym for it. SCAN. You guys are scanning all the time. My little scanners in my chat. Each and every one of you. We also use criteria-based content analysis. Fancy word, fancy term. Its acronym is CBCA. And it's assessing credibility through detail quantity, logical structure, and unstructured production. This is what I use Grok for, because there's no way I'm going to sit down there and do all of that the old-fashioned way. Good to see you, Boober Weir. And what this does, it's very simple, and you'll understand the benefit to having a computer do it for you and typing it back out like it's a cartoon. Like you're the coyote. Remember the Bugs Bunny and Roadrunner show? I won't get too distracted. So criteria, CBCA, criteria-based content analysis, is simply assessing credibility through detail quantity. The number of times, for example, somebody uses the term I or these things, we do that already. So assessing credibility through detail quantity, logical structure, almost do that every time we listen to these assholes, right? And unstructured production. And general deception indicators from linguistic research, such as pronoun usage, negations, tentative language, via adapted LIWC style metrics. Grok also used quantitative text analysis to identify patterns. Fantastic. This is why we have computers, right? Example, word counts and repetitions, which is interesting. And that's what I want to read to you before we start all of this, to give you the kind of scope of the entirety of the 2.5 hours of statements from Janie, just straight statements. The number of times that she uses things in a certain way. And we're going to start, well, how should I do this? I should put Janie on the screen first of all. Well, that's yesterday's. I got some new, there's Janie. We'll put Janie in there. That's what she's going to look like in prison, eating with all of her nasty new friends. Then we'll go into looking at the things that she said. We'll do that together. I'll put them on the screen as opposed to when I read this breakdown for you. The transcript is repetitive and unstructured, jumping between topics such as timelines and dog explanations, criticisms of others. We've all in this chat, and those watching in the future have all listened to it, and we still listen to it and find things. There's that much. It's that rich. Rich in deception. The point is that we're at a point now where we can look at it in a different manner. We can scale out a little bit and understand the things that she's saying in totality. The transcript is repetitive. It's unstructured, jumping between topics like timelines and dog explanations, criticisms of others. This aligns with unstructured production in CBCA, which can indicate truthfulness if spontaneous. But here, it often feels rehearsed due to high repetition. Key findings below highlight potential deception cues. Note that no single cue proves deception. They must be considered in context. Deception indicators include inconsistencies, evasion, overemphasis, and deflection. Now, I did do a Pleas scan on this as well. Priority leakage, avoidance intentions, distancing language, and sensitivities made famous and explained well by Mike Demand. Make sure you go check him out. Before we talk about that, though, I'll finish this. We begin with the inconsistencies, for example. Red flag, there's deviations in the narrative. It's fairly straightforward and simple. I'll read it fairly quickly. You guys know this part already. The timeline discrepancy on the brother's call. Janie states her brother called at 9:48. Later, she repeatedly said 8:48, which is an hour off. This is a clear factual inconsistency in a key timeline detail, potentially indicating fabrication or memory alteration. Truthful statements typically maintain a consistent detail or details. The search of the trailer. Janie claims the trailer was searched 3 times. However, descriptions vary slightly. For example, twice on Friday and Sunday morning versus broader repetitions. Minor, but combined with emphasis, it suggests over reassurance, which is true. We've heard her explain that numerous times. So some other vague timings. Critical events in her story lack precision. Example, wasn't long after the term. Wasn't long after. It wasn't long after. About 5 or 10 minutes. Or the term, about 20 minutes. This evasion of specifics is a deception cue, as truthful accounts often include more concrete temporal anchors. We're talking about evasion and tentative language. There's a real lack of commitment, linguistically, of course. Now, here's some numbers. High evasion terms. There was 77 instances Janie used phrases like, I don't know. She did that 53 times. She said, I don't know 53 times. I can't tell you 8 times. I'm not sure 6 times. And she said sorry 13 times in apologetic contexts. This suggests avoidance of direct answers, especially on key details such as, I don't know what happened, or I don't know what's going on. These she said multiple times as well. Tentative language. There were 173 instances, that's 0.65% of all the words, including I think. 173 instances, including the term I think. Frequent, for example, I think it was Shelby. Or I think Sonny should watch. This reduces commitment, a common deception marker. Here we go. There were 345 negations. High use of no, not, and never. Example, I did not refuse. I don't know. These clusters of these. Excessive negation can indicate defensiveness. Talking about repetition and overemphasis, indicating really a rehearsal or trying to convince. High repetition of phrases over 5 times. High repetition of Jack and Lily. She used Jack and Lily's name 61 times. This could be an over-focus on the children, possibly to evoke sympathy. You get a sense of that from her, don't you? But she really fucks that right up. The term I don't, she used that I don't 75 times. Don't know 53 times. This reinforces evasion. Another one she likes to use, a term, is as I said. She used that 51 times. Signals rehearsal. Example, as I said, I have nothing to hide. She used the term that's all 21 times. Well, it's obviously not all. There's 20 more you alls, that's all's coming. Holy shit. That's all. She used that term 21 times, guys. And that's what? 12 times. These are dismissive closures. Other ones, such as the term my dog, context repeated 87 mentions total of her dog. 87 mentions of her dog. This emphasize... I'll say it's emphasizing the dog as a barrier to searches. This seems extenuous, deflecting from core events. It seems so, unless but we also know the hook. The AI doesn't know the hook about the switcheroo of the dog and what Belinda said. So keep that in mind too. So there might be another reason or more beyond what it is that we're just stating here. And this is just 2.5 hours of her statements and Facebook behind the scenes comments. Holy Hannah. The whole thing Janie came out with is so detached from humanity, detached, void of any sort of personality, emotion. It's so rehearsed. I had no involvement. Without prompting suggests anticipation of accusations. Yeah, you really get that from Janie, don't you? You get a lot of these unsolicited denials as though she already knows what's coming. You really get that. Well, next time when we start reading, a lot of these things should stick out to you. Easy for me to say, extraneous and irrelevant details. According to CBCA, there's a low quantity of relevant details. No shit. Even the computers are sending out question marks. Shit. Oh, scan. The scan result was sensitivity, so low core event focus. The disappearance timeline is detailed but buried in unrelated tangents, such as her dog anxiety. This is 4 different instances that lasted long periods of time. Like I have timestamps along with these that we can go and check any of them out, but I don't want to put you through that, guys. It's so much better to read this and put it in context after, like, you already know what she's saying and we're just reacting to it, right? But we're going beyond that in this. Holy shit. We're not going to put you through that. There's 87 dog mentions total. Fluffy. She mentioned Fluffy 87 times. Like, you might think of it maybe 1, 2, or 3 would be normal in order to get the point across if you're having trouble. She's just out throwing it around 87 times. That's so crazy. This is a leakage of sensitivity. It diverts from the incident. That term that Grok gave me, this is leakage of sensitivity. That's interesting. That's a good way of putting it. We know why she's sensitive about it, because Fluffy, she did the old switcheroo. She probably switched the dog out. And we're going to find that out eventually. The fact that we're going to find that out eventually. Because a lot of this stuff is on body cam, RCMP body cam. And my favorite one that I'm anticipating, I don't know what yours is. Make sure you let me know in the comment section below for those of you watching in the future. But the one that I'm anticipating the most is the responding officer on May the 2nd interviewing crazy Janie after the driveway altercation. Oh, I can't wait. That's going to be my fave. That's going to be my favorite. I know it. I can feel it already. Actually, some second favorite. My favorite's going to be the one that I didn't know about. Helicopter Grandma. That's very generous of you, darling. Thank you. Yeah, well, we can all consider the one that we don't know about is going to be the best. But the ones that we do know about, the situations, man, that's going to be interesting. So, talking about extraneous and irrelevant details, to continue that on, we just mentioned low core event focus. The disappearance timeline is detailed but buried in unrelated tangents. The dog anxiety, the 87 dog mentions total. This leakage of sensitivity diverts from the incident, of course. Now, there is sympathy appeals, emotional digressions about grandchildren, dog, and self-suffering. These build rapport, but add little factual value, potentially manipulating credibility. Yeah, we noticed. Instances of deflection. Janie criticizes others, such as Malaya's parenting, Sonny's accusations, politicians. These are all blame shifts, reducing personal accountability. Talking about pronoun usage and self-reference. First person pronouns scores 1,993, which is moderately high, suggesting personal involvement. Truthful cue, however, clustered in denials and evasions. Examples, I don't know. It may indicate self-focus to convince rather than inform. Oh, that's a good blanket statement. It indicates self-focus to convince rather to inform. Yeah, we get that from pretty much everybody involved here, especially you there, Darren Geddes. So the overall credibility assessment, there's a high word count, 26,783 words. Are you guys got your popcorn? We're not doing that tonight, but we'll get through it eventually. So the overall credibility, the CBCA synthesis, the strengths supporting truthfulness in it is listed as logical structure in timeline, quantity of details with a high word count, unstructured jumps suggest spontaneity. Right, she's fabricating in real time. The weaknesses in it, deception indicators, missing pronouns in some sentences. Example, fragmented gives me a timestamp. Lack of sensory details in key moments. Example, no sounds or smells during the disappearance. Motivational elements, such as a plea for return. It feels scripted even to the AI. Now, potential deception probability, moderate to high, inconsistencies. such as the call time, high evasion and repetition, and deflection are strong red flags. The narrative seems defensive with overemphasis on non-involvement and alibis. Example, searches in the dog. This could indicate concealment or partial truth, especially around Malaya's role or the exact events. That was just reinforcing what we already talked about anyway. Now, I do have it, but I'll save it. I'll save the Pleas till a little bit later in the live broadcast. Now, talking about what Janie, where did I put that? Let's talk about what you could be on the hook for. I think I erased it. Or did I? No, I didn't. Or maybe I did. Actually, hold on. I'm confusing myself. We'll switch it up right now. I went and I searched out. I think it might be down. Hold on. These are all the paragraphs. But I wanted to go through the potential charges we're looking at for Janie. Here we go. Here we go, baby. So I ask, what would the charges be for Janie, who provided a false story to police about hearing two missing children who are presumed dead and red-rummed from her property? She's also suspected of destroying evidence, cleaning up the crime scene, and helping dispose of two unalived children. Everybody understand? It's a nice generalized question for the sake of a quick answer. Is that Michelle? Oh, Michelle, thank you very much. I don't know why my alert box isn't working. It should be. That super sticker is very generous of you, darling. Hold on, I'm on the wrong one. So, it's a hypothetical scenario at this point in time. Just wondering, of course. Based on the details you described, providing a false story to police about hearing the missing children. Hold on. We got to get back for this. Just a sec. We got to get better effects. Yeah, there they all are getting nailed together. There we go. So, potential criminal charges for Janie McKenzie, based on the details I described, providing a false story to police about hearing the missing children, Lily and Jack, who disappeared from a property in Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia on May 2nd, 2025, and are presumed passed and red-rummed in this hypothetical, as well as destroying evidence, cleaning the crime scene, and assisting in disposing of the bodies. These actions could lead to serious charges under Canada's Criminal Code, RSC 1985, citing C46. Note that this is a hypothetical analysis, friends. In reality, the case remains unsolved. Charges would depend on evidence, intent, and prosecutorial discretion. In Nova Scotia, the RCMP investigates and the Public Prosecution Service decides on charges. Penalties vary, but whether the Crown proceeds by indictment or more serious higher max sentences or summary conviction, which is lesser, here's a breakdown of likely charges. First would be public mischief. Section 130 for providing a false story to police. This applies if Janie intentionally misled police by making a false statement. She did. Example, claiming to hear the children playing when she didn't, causing them to enter or continue the investigation based on that lie. In missing persons, murder cases, now you understand why they're not switching labels all over the place all the time. Claiming to hear the children playing when she didn't, causing them to enter or continue an investigation based on that lie. In missing persons, red rum cases, false timelines or witness accounts can divert resources and hinder justice. Some key elements. You must prove intent to mislead and that it caused police action. Should be very easy. Like searching based on her account. The penalty, it's indictable up to 5 years imprisonment and a fine up to $5,000 or up to 6 months in jail if you can't afford it. Why it fits her statement, we'll go on to the next one. The obstructing justice for destroying evidence and cleaning the crime scene. This covers willfully attempting to obstruct, pervert, there's Danny, or defeat the course of justice. That's what Kent and Durwood are doing. They're perverts and they're perverting the course of justice. Or defeat the course of justice, such as destroying or altering or concealing evidence, like cleaning blood, wiping surfaces, or tampering with the scene to remove traces of the children. Subsection 139, subrule 2 specifically includes acts like disguising or destroying physical evidence. Key elements of this charge. Intent to interfere with an investigation or judicial proceeding applies even if no charges were laid yet. It's indictable up to 10 years in prison. Third one for Janie, accessory after the fact to red rum, section 240, for helping dispose of the bodies. This applies if Janie, knowing red rum had occurred, received, comforted, or assisted the perpetrator or perpetrators in escaping detection, specifically by helping dispose of the bodies. Example, burying, hiding, or transporting them. Section 23 defines accessory after the fact generally, but Section 240 escalates it to red rum. Key elements: knowledge of the principal offense, which is the red rum, providing assistance post-crime, not during, not being the principal offender. Penalty is indictable up to life imprisonment. Same max as the red rum, though sentences are often lower. Fourth charge to Janie, indignity to a dead body for improper handling and disposal of remains. This criminalizes offering indignities. This criminalizes offering indignities to or improperly interfering with a dead human body or remains. For example, mutilating, hiding, disrespectfully disposing of bodies without lawful excuse. The key elements are intentional improper treatment. No need for a red rum connection, but often charged in homicide cover-ups, which is what we're dealing with here. Right, Danny? That's indictable up to 5 years in prison. Additional considerations: aggravating factors. If proven, the vulnerability of child victims could lead to harsher sentences. Multiple charges could be laid concurrently. Defenses: Janie could argue lack of intent, coercion, or that her statements were honest mistakes, like memory issues. Her inconclusive polygraph might be raised, but polygraphs aren't admissible in Canadian courts. RCMP have searched the property extensively, including with drones and dogs, and found no criminal evidence yet. If new proof emerges, like forensics linking her to a cleanup, charges could follow. Well, they didn't search that small ugly, shitty RV in the driveway 3 times for nothing, did they? See, the way I figure it is that the RCMP can recognize bullshit in real time, and they knew there's something up with this fucking bitch. We're going to start pulling forensics and take everything and swab here and there and everywhere. Take a look through that rat's nest of a RV, and we're going to find something for just such an occasion down the line to hold her to it. I'm going to start with Janie's first statement. It's good to see everybody. Welcome in, friends. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up if you don't mind. It helps me out in the algorithm a great deal. Robin Edwards, good to see you this morning. Facts versus Myth. Hello, Shenanigans. Bonnie Randall. Pervert. There's Danny. 100% the children, those kids, unbelievable. Mocking Lily and complaining about Jack. What a witch. Oh my God. She's a gem. Jupo, that's a good question. That's interesting. How squirrely must she have been, and what state was the RV for them to keep going back in? Good question. Probably looked like a goddamn murder scene when you went in there. They probably had to process it all on its own just because of the state of the place. Robin Edwards says that dipshit DT said D's defense lawyer will use his polygraph in court. People told him no, not admissible in Canada. He doesn't listen. It's not admissible in the States either. Mall cop. Oh, what an idiot. That guy is such a spaz. Okay, let's not distract too much from what's going on. Oh, my God. Oh, shit. I don't smoke cigarettes, asshole. I smoke the dope. There, Durwood. I keep blocking this account. That's one of Durwood's clan's accounts. Are you a chain smoker? Not at all. I smoke chronic nonstop, bitch. That's what you do. Why would they search that trailer, Durwood? What a fucking loser. It's like one of the only ones I keep around. I only time that one out. I banned every other one. But the odd time I like to control them to come in because I know that they have stupid fucking statements to add to the live chat in that sense. That's all they're good for. Now you're under my control. You're under my thumb now, Darren Geddes. Michelle Maybell, I lose brain cells just hearing what this guy says. I'm so glad DT doesn't bother me or entice me to listen. Oh, fuck. Thanks for stopping by, Michelle Maybell. They droned under the RV according to the lovely Janie. Oh, hell. FPV'd that bitch. Oh, my God. Remember DM said he heard Lily screaming, but then the helicopters were there, and then he didn't hear it again? Whatever, DM. You see, DM, we don't forget your statements. JM's statements or Dick Wood's, Helicopter Grandma says. You're well versed in it by now. Oh my God. Michelle, are you a Drunken Turkey fan? Don't tell us that. Polygraphs are not admissible in court, but the same question may be asked if approved and related to. What are you talking about, Lynn? You're welcome in, by the way. Exactly 100%. It's amusing. TikTok Durwood, you're next. Has he been out and about talking to people or what? Oh, you're not, Michelle. I try not to hold that against creators in that sense, but the odd time it's funny because this guy says so much stupid stuff. It's funny. Well, if what you guys are telling me is true, like even Sunny, I try not to hold it against Sunny, even though it's not for me. Like, she's cool. She's saying the right things. She's saying the opposite things as Sunny. But there's people out there that are newer and not experienced in certain things, and it's just not the same. People want to collab and do things for their channels. Like, this true crime genre is different to different people in that sense. And I don't even consider myself to be true crime. Not in that sense. We cover things that are truly criminal, friends. These are ongoing crimes in real time and the drama that surrounds it. It just so happens this Jack and Lily situation is taking priority in my mind. I'm not losing sleep over it anymore. But it's a story that needs to be talked about because it's not covered properly enough in traditional media. That's not for a reason. That's just the environment, unfortunately, we live in. They never talk about anything that's important to us. They talked about things that were the truth, we'd be in a real sorry state. Then we'd hold them accountable, and then they wouldn't hold power anymore. It's just somehow become part of the process. Janie talks at you, not with you, Lynn. The perfect person to detain and interrogate for 8 hours. This is going to be one for the records. There's going to be a day, there's going to come a day, a couple years down the line, where the trial will be over and these people will be in jail, and we'll be able to access all of the important details that we need at that point in time, and I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm going to fill out those forms and have them ready to mail out. Think about all the interviews, or as we'll be calling them then, interrogations, that we'll be watching. I want to see everything to do with Malaya. Think about just the people involved in the situation. Janie, Daniel, Malaya, Durwood. But we don't have to include him quite yet. Now, just how centric is he to the activity? They had to include thinking in our criminal minds. They had to include and go outside their comfort zone and include somebody in order to help them carry this out. And I believe that's where Darren Geddes fits into all of this. No, not usually, not like the US does Zeitwave. Yes, it'll be on camera, but not like on network TV in that sense. Because of the nature of the trial, I don't know. They'll be recording it because you probably have to access it for, for people who can't be at court, perhaps. They'll have that accessible, I think. But I don't think it'll be like on network TV in that sense. But they can change that at any time, and that'd be fantastic. I doubt they will, though. Anastasia, Robin, I corrected him about which document Malaya's accusation of Daniel's ABUSE came from. He said that it came from the custody case, and that we know. Oh, you're talking about that silly bastard. Danny Turkey. If Janie was your cellmate, you'd have to off yourself just to get away from that voice. Well, first thing that you do is that you're going to have to beat her down. You're going to have to give it to her. You're going to have to tell her. Your charges include some aggravating factors. That's going to be a real problem. Looks like you're going to need some protection. Since we're so close, why don't you pay me weekly? Why don't you pay me 4 boxes of that spicy kimchi ramen from commissary to begin with? And I won't let anybody else around here hurt you. Darlene D, yeah. Oh, well, you guys can't stop talking about. Maybe that's what the trick is to get into the algorithm. You've got to pretend to be so fucking stupid that you get people talking and people outraged, feeling some kind of way at your idiocity. To get him come over here. Now I'm fucking advertising the guy. Holy shit. You see how this works? I would listen. It comes across the camera as he's dumb AF, but it's not being dumb AF. It's being selectively narrow-minded, focused because of a particular underlying reason that has nothing to do with child safety, public safety, or anything rational that we're comparing it to. It's specific to him, and that's all that matters, right? As long as he believes it. But I mean, there's no possible way an individual can be that dumb. It's all on purpose. He's playing an act. He's putting on an act in that sense. Like Don or Dougie Hutton. Or Skeezy likes to sometimes. Helicopter Grandma. AB, as a retired legal assistant, I knew that there are ID numbers to watch court, including Red Rum and SA. I've emailed the court and picked you to try to get the codes for each court. Oh, well, make sure that you send them my way when you get them. ANH says, I can't stand his nonsense. I was expecting so much, then all I saw was his love for DM. Bonnie Randall, DT is rage farming. Thank you for clicks in your opinion. He's being contrarian on purpose. Summing it up. Thank you. I guess that's in a nutshell what I was saying. He's not interested in what's important here. The fact that he's going and collabing with all kinds of other channels is fucking hilarious. And then, like what he did to Sunny, I didn't even watch any of it, but just watching it from afar, it was kind of interesting. You didn't even have to do that. Sunny would have just glazed you regardless. Who cares? But he had to go and turn on her. Why? Oh, why? To show... It had to have been a gesture to show his new friends Daniel and Janie just how aligned he is with them, how in love he is with them. Oh, Diane, that's so funny. Oh, you just took that away from me. Oh, I'll read it on the screen. I don't watch him, the DT show, but when DM goes to jail, I want to see how he spins that. If something big breaks and DM guilty, how he spins that. Only way halfway train, not third, not second. He can't math map. Listen, I know where you're going with that. In that situation, no matter what, to him, the connection of communication supersedes any sort of logics. That's his key to clicks and views, no matter what. That's his basis, his baseline. And he's keeping that close, guarded, valuable thing. So he doesn't give a shit what he says in front of a microphone for a bunch of people he doesn't care about. It's all about the flow of attention, and no matter what happens, especially knowing that the guy is fucking guilty, pretending that he's not gives you a line of connection from a very important a very important time frame where he's closed everybody else out, and you are the only person really around that he'll give an interview with, he'll talk to, get a statement from, and then all of a sudden he cashes in at those moments in time. So in that sense, I understand what being a contrarian is, but when it comes to children, all hustles aside, this is fair game at this point in time, as far as I'm concerned. You can go after him any point on any third-person shooter game. That's not my thing, right? I like to go and use this place exactly what it's for, to go and talk about the truth in that sense. There's nothing like the Fifth Estate. I'm not doing journalism currently. I'm just talking into a mic, entertaining people, trying to present something that I'd like to listen to. Usually. Although I don't like listening to my own voice. I can, but I like to go unscripted. I like just to talk, right? How come they know specific? I just like to talk. I usually don't talk. I like to get behind a microphone and talk about this. And that's the deception and the lies and the blatant lies that are shocking in the case of Jack and Lily when it comes to Daniel and Janie specifically, with an asterisk beside Durwood's name. In this situation, thinking Durwood is anything but is just your mind playing a trick on you in that sense, trying to really dismiss his nonsense. You don't have to go to the extreme and start accusing him of things that are just not right, or trying to make him look bad or worse than he already does. But I'm talking about the reality of the situation, and that brings me back to Daniel and Janie concocting this master plan to get away with this small conspiracy and covering up what they did to Jack and Lily in this circumstance. You know what, Diane? You know what's interesting about Janie, too? The first thing she did was contradict herself. Think about what it is that she's said to the world. First, she focused on putting the blame back onto the victims and focusing on the sliding door and the sound of it. The preposterousness of the door that they got out of is somehow more important than what happened to Jack and Lily. So for her to put the blame back onto the victim in that order, that sequence, it tells you a lot in her intent, her priorities. The leakage of priorities. But now, where I'm going with, I got myself sidetracked. I'm sorry. I was just telling you about Jack was dragged Diane into the her contradiction. Excuse me. So what she did from the door was then tell us the first instinct when you hear the kids are missing. What did Janie say? You think that they go into the woods, and she spends hours upon hours and the rest of her time afterwards talking to everybody about how there's no way those kids went into the woods. So the first thing she did was lie to us by saying, when you hear the kids are missing, your instinct is that they went into the woods. Like she's trying to relate to the world. And then immediately she turns around and tells the world how Jack wouldn't walk through the woods. Lily wouldn't walk through the woods. She hated to be dirty. She didn't even like it. They've tried to do it a couple of times and they had to drag them through. I'll just bet you dragged them through. Big indicators. That's just an out-and-out lie. Like, there's no way as an RCMP investigator that they would ever be sitting there and let that go. They would be looking in side-eyeing one another, writing that down in their little notepad, playing it and replaying it again, just like we do. These are the levels of contradiction. These are the things that are interesting. These are the reasons that people need to talk about it. Not that all of a sudden, hey, we're trying to put somebody into a panic and go and call the RCMP and demand all kinds of unrealistic things. That's not the intent. Don't get yourselves worked up. Go get another drink. Maybe have a glass of water. Breathe. They're already on it. But these topics are way more interesting than anything that they're going to talk about on the CBC in their updates. This is a way better way to get your information should you find and come across certain channels and not others. But I'm pretty sure that you're not that stupid. Anyway, it has nothing to do with being stupid. I guess what I was trying to say is mistaking misinformation for not in a situation, although it happens. Helicopter Grandma, 100%, but made sure we all knew that Jackie hated going into the woods and had to drag him. She had to call Lily to wait up. So why look in the woods? It's unbelievable. Yeah, why would she even think about looking in the woods if that's such an unrealistic expectation? And it would be for a 4 and a 6-year-old child in the morning to get up and go out, just wander out. But here's where the coercion and probable coercion, or possible, between Daniel and Malaya. You know, she was being made to tell them this particular story. She wasn't sitting there on her own, just coming up and reciting her perspective of things and what she just experienced and what the problem is, and communicating that to a greater audience. No, she's rehearsing or reciting a rehearsed story that she was made to recite by Danny and Janie. If they were already on it, WTF didn't they bring the canine rug dogs at any time into Janie's trailer in the shed? Because they didn't need the dogs to know that they were users. They're not in there to bust somebody using because it's illegal. That's the least of their problems, even on the street. You can go downtown, any major city, and go and get a hooker and some blow right on the street in front of a cop, and he probably wouldn't even arrest you. They're responding to a missing child's case. That's what's taking a report of Jack and Lily wandering out of their trailer. Very specific. She told them what happened. That would tell me that you were awake and knew what was going on. But she emphasized the fact that they were possibly autistic, and they were known to wander as though they did this all the time. Then come to find out, none of that is even remotely true. So we're off to a really bad start here, Malaya. And that's exactly listen, that didn't happen, okay? Listen to me carefully. The RCMP know that didn't happen. That opens up their conversation and their questioning of Malaya away from the people that imposed that story on her, to open up enough to break and understand really what's going on. And then they can get a little roadmap together about how it is that they want to get where they need to go with this case. And Malaya, thankfully, and Cindy, and these charges are a sign from God, aside from Jesus, that they're talking and working together in the background. You couldn't get any closer to an understanding with that, especially when the RCMP through the papers acknowledge that they're already protecting some of her personal information, etc. And then here comes these charges. Well, now you're understanding why. Danny and Janie want to pretend that they're getting the same treatment, and they're not. They're not even being cooperative, nor have they been at any point in time. Telling them and giving them all kinds of electronics is just taunting them. That attempt at transparency isn't exactly a demonstration of your innocence. In fact, it's a signal to people that you're guilty of something and you need to cover something up, anticipating what's coming next. NHC68 says, they're all lying and everyone knows it. Time will tell. I look forward to that day. Diane, so a 4 and a 6-year-old would rather take the chance in running into a bear in the woods than being home with DM. Okay, I can see that. Oh, you can't see that at all. But what do I know? Well, fantasy at this point. There's no way that they volunteered to leave that home and on their own volition. That's obvious. Kids get hungry. And they take their food that they take from your cupboard and go and sit in front of the TV. Especially first thing in the morning when they're waking up. Routine. But it's like this, the home was interrupted of what should be an otherwise normal routine. I'm going to read in a moment just how Janie never liked Malaya since Daniel first introduced her to him. Introduced you to him. Well, wait, she's moving in right now. And so are all the kids. So what was it, I wonder? Was it September 1st, 2024? And March 30th, 2025? That was the dates, if I remember correctly, on the paperwork of Daniel's charges. So these encompass that the amount of time in between those two dates. What was it, the trigger event, I wonder, way back in 2024? When did things start to go south? And it has to be this move into Gerlach Road, into this Texas Chainsaw Massacre parked here in rural Nova Scotia. I'm waiting for Leatherface to jump out behind the RV. That's Durwood. Durwood is probably has his own little Buffalo Bill human skin mask that he puts on with crazy hair that he's kept from all of his cousin mothers, and dances around to weird disco, obscure German disco in front of the mirror. It always bothered me since the first day he said he checked all the culverts. Yeah, why would you check them if the children just wandered off 20 minutes ago? Pretty ominous. Darlene, exactly. Mm-hmm. You're running around checking culverts. Janie's talking about, are the kids dead? Do you run around asking people if the kids are dead? I don't fucking think that would ever come out of my mouth unless I just saw something. Unless they just fell 20 feet off a ladder. Right? Why is that in her mind? Why does she feel the need in the moment to convince people, otherwise leaking at times far past that? It's like watching wrestling and having the discussion whether or not it's scripted. Do you know what I mean? It's the same sort of sensation with these cases where you have the parents interacting with social media and trying to get away with these very brazen crimes. Agree you would need phone. I'm sure you could find service somewhere, maybe not that spot. Of course you can. It's just sporadic. It's usually because their devices suck. Why even look if you couldn't call for help? He didn't look. He knows where they were put in that sense. Yeah, Diane, I get you. Here's Janie's first statement. Yes, Daniel did do a lot for those kids. Yes, I will say that. And I will also say the only time that Jack and Lily and Meadow ever went to town is when Daniel was with them because Malaya couldn't handle all 3 kids. And I'll tell you something else. For the last 2 years, I observed those kids in my backyard. Those kids. And the only time that Malaya went out with those kids is when she took Meadow out. And when she took Meadow out, that's all she would do is take them over. Take her over to see those chickens. I've never seen I've never seen Malaya push those kids down on a swing or even watch them go down the slide. Hold on. I've never seen her out there playing with the kids. In the wintertime, I would go out and throw snowballs at them, build snowmans with them, build a tall snowbank for them to go sledding in all the grandchildren, for all the grandchildren. And I would try to go coasting with them. Yeah, I'm just sure you did there, honey baby. And I would try to go coasting with them, but I have some medical problems. I couldn't really go coasting with them. So why would you even bring it up? She's trying to garner some sympathy. Oh, my medical problems. Give me some sympathy. But I would push them down the hill in the sleigh. You know, what a douchebag. Kids can push themselves down hills. They need help going back up the hill. I'll push them down the hill. Oh, Granny's up there. She'll push you down. I guess it is a little funner when you have somebody else pushing. But I would push them down the hill in a sleigh. I would play snowballs with them. I built snowmans with them. I never seen Malaya ever do that with them. When she was out watching them coast, she was pulling Meadow around in the sleigh. After Meadow was born, yes, Meadow got all the attention. I seen that with my own 2 eyes. Yes, Jack and Lily were sort of put to the back burner. Yes, I never seen when I would go in there after them after school, I would never see Malaya sit down and do their homework with them. Probably because they're 4 and 6, they don't have homework. I would never see Malaya read to them. I would always read to them when I would babysit them, which was once when she checked herself into the psych ward at the hospital after calling 911. Yes, I babysit Jack and Lily. Whenever they went somewhere, I would babysit them. And I had no problem with Jack and Lily. See, she's lying here to everybody. She's lying to everybody here in real time. She's lying to you. Whenever they went somewhere, I would babysit them. That's a blatant lie. And I had no problem with Jack and Lily. Would sit with me and watch TV. I would take Jack. He would hold him in my arms. He would pretend he was swimming. He would pretend he was playing airplane. Lily would be running around showing me her dolls. And yes, I did more interaction with those children than Malaya did. So let's not focus on the fact that she just bullshitted us and lied to us. Think about the priority throughout that statement. She's making Malaya out to be this negative influence on her own children's lives. It's more like they're putting on her what it is that they know that they're doing to Jack and Lily in that moment. They're deflecting the blame off onto Malaya. It's an attempt, right? It's such a disgusting thing to hear. In the moment when this is all about where Jack and Lily are supposed to be, you're following up on the report, you're assuming, Jack and Lily are gone. And everybody's supposed to assume the information that they were given by Janie and Daniel and Malaya is accurate. And the more that time goes on, the easier it is to identify all of the lies and inconsistencies. And come to find out, they're compulsive liars. So what should we expect in the future? Appreciate LJ. Darlene, I just can't picture Janie playing with Lily and Jack. Probably did those things with her grandchildren. Yeah. I'm skeptical as well. Helicopter Grandma says, when was that? When you need to use the washroom. You're an evil woman who clearly did not like Jack and Lily. It makes me sick. So we have her opening up with talking about how much Daniel did for the children. Does anybody believe that? More like did to the children. But she's describing her actions as really something that they're clearly not. And it's all to take away and throw suspicion on the third person, Malaya, who was also there when you guys say that the kids went missing on that Friday morning, 20 minutes before the call to 911, thereabouts. You know what this looks like? That they didn't think this through very well. They didn't think this through completely and just went with it. Jupo9928, yes, I can see DM not wanting her to go into town alone and using the kids as an excuse. Well, let's not forget, because they were so heavily in love with one another, they tracked one another's movements through their phone, because of course that's what you do. That's Daniel talking. Making M drive stops her making plans with anyone else. Making Malaya drive stops her from making plans with anyone else. That's true, Jupo. It's a good point. DM resented Jack and Lily, in my opinion. And so did JM. DM had control over MBM when she had Meadow. That happens, trust me. Get a woman pregnant and have a child for control. Well, right. We have Janie bringing up too and insinuating that, you know, Malaya, when she first met her, they couldn't have a conversation even when Meadow was born. And that's signaling to me that was supposed to be something that they could have bonded over, but they didn't have that sort of relationship. She says that Malaya would come over and take, you know, Meadow away from her and use what really she's explained to be excuses. And she's bringing it up to further add or discredit Malaya and make her look suspicious in light of those children missing. You know, DM and MBM had choices about another child, but the way he talked to Taylor and the charges leads me to believe she did not have a choice. Interesting. Jen R says, I don't think he ever left MB alone. Yeah, I think he was probably infatuated with her and objectified her. And that's obvious. That's obvious since like the 2-week honeymoon phase on Facebook dating before he moved into Patty's. He already conquered Malaya when he moved into her bed. And the fight became between Malaya's family and Daniel then. Daniel took his object and left with her, promising her the world. Beautiful things were going to happen on the farm. Janie's house. The only thing that happened was they put an addition up in the driveway with that broken down RV they probably got from Kent. Kent family cum stains all over the place in there. Squid, good to see you. You can only imagine the stories that DM told MBM about growing up with Janie. Don't know if I need to hear any of them at this point. Maybe they search RV so many times for other dog hair. The dog hairs. You're behind from the live, if y'all can't tell. Maybe Diane. Hey, now, they were getting a pool too, Squid says. Oh, yeah, they're going to... Janie was going to put in that pool, of course. That's why she's raking. Because that's... You need a level ground for the pool. That's a good one. Neuro VX, I was raking for the swimming pool. I thought Janie was full of it and covering for her deranged son. Yeah, what? Right away, all of this extenuous information stands out to you, right? What would seem like it. Because they're unwilling to add any context or tangible details as to why the information they're communicating with you is important. They don't have a point. That's a problem. Next Janie statement. She told me that I interfered, it's talking about the RCMP. She told me that I interfered in her investigation. She'd have me removed off the property. I told her there was a dog in there. If she wants, she didn't even give me the chance to tell me to take her or to take my dog out of there. She started shooting off to me. See that statement right there? Interesting. That's another indicator from Janie and Kent and Durwood leaving that exact sort of statement in my comment sections, trying to talk smack and all of this fabulous content that I'm bringing you. Hit those thumbs up, Janie. Hit that thumbs up, Janie. Durwood, hit the thumbs up in this video, friends. Maybe they searched the RV so many times. Yeah, it was the raking for the swimming pool. Yes, I saw that. Raking to get a surface to make a boot print. It was very wet ground around there, so Belinda says. She started shooting off to me. I then let the searchers search my trailer. Malaya let them in to search my trailer, meaning the, not RV, but the trailer that Malaya left Daniel in. Malaya let them search my trailer with those stutters. And on Sunday morning, Mason and 3 other people came in and searched my trailer. They even checked my washer spinner. So I did not refuse to let them search my trailer. I just told Officer Mason there was a dog in there. My dog was protecting his property, and I was scared if she went in there, my dog would have done something. Not that he would have. But you don't know when somebody enters your property without a dog knowing. It was just for her safety and my dog's safety. So if people can't understand that, then they don't know anything about dogs. Just about your fence building skills, you nutbag. She's used that cop-out, that coping mechanism several times. She does the same thing when she talks about building the fence. And where she was the Thursday night, that their timeline becomes awfully obscured in this whole seeing Jack and Lily outside Thursday night, and you were building a fence, only you weren't because you were waiting for Daniel to find his tools so he could go hold up the other end of the board to level it out. And if you don't know what she's talking about, then you don't know anything about carpentry. And if people can't understand that, then they don't know anything about dogs. Janie says. My dog has lived a quiet life here, and all of a sudden, I have all of these search and rescue people here. All cops, helicopter, drones. My dog is got so much anxiety in him. He's losing his hair. I had him to the vet. Told him as long as I was stressed out, my dog would be stressed out. So, I wonder how much she paid for that advice. So we can consider that another lie. So, or experiential memory. So it had nothing to do with me not letting search my RV. I was just the safety of the officer and for my dog. And as far as the cupboard goes, I had nothing in the cupboard. I do not do rugs. I do not have guns. I don't do any redacted like that. So there's your answer to the cupboard. There's your answer to the RC, to the RCMP not searching my trailer. They have searched my trailer 3 times. Damn, she's annoying. Explorer Core, you just finished what? When I was talking to you, you just went ahead and read it? I'm trying to perform for you. How is it that JM said she kept to herself and not in the cabin much? But from what I read, she was around often. How did she not know of the abuse? Well, she does. Well, it's because she doesn't consider it to be ABUSE, Explorer Corps. She doesn't give a crap about what society thinks, especially when there's nobody else around. In my opinion. Also, Malaya making lunch for him, JM says 221 hello, and dropping it off for him at work. Make your own damn lunches, you loser. Well, that's a nice gesture. That's just a nice gesture. But as a stay-at-home mom, you can pack a lunch or make your husband's lunch and put it in the fridge. Let him take it to work when he goes. But she was probably told that's what she has to do. Like, it doesn't seem to me that old Malaya exactly really had a real keen eye for homemaking. You know what I mean? She wasn't making the cover of Chatelaine magazine. Could you imagine Malaya Brooks Murray on the cover of Chatelaine Christmas edition? Oh, yeah, I don't think so. So Daniel probably imposed some ideas her way in that sense. This is what you need to do. This is what you're going to do. You need to make my lunch. And when you're done making that lunch, you're going to go make another lunch for the next day. Not too far ahead. I like my tuna fresh. Here, let me teach you how to make tuna salad for me. That way, the sandwiches that you're going to make me is absolutely going to be that much better. Helicopter Grandma, an RCMP officer shoot it off to you, JM. They were trying to figure out what happened to Jack and Lily and maybe find them. She gives me a headache all day long. You used to make your ex-husband's lunch, but he started complaining about it and not enough cookies, blah, blah, blah. I told him to make his own damn lunch. Yeah, depends what you're doing. Nice to have a chef, wouldn't it? She was hiding something in that RV, in your opinion, Nero. What do you think it is? What do you think it is that she was hiding, I wonder? Do you think it was an oversized dog dish and bowl for a huge dog rather than one fluffy size? Or something deeper? I'm not giving you shit, Explore Core. Go right ahead. I'm just kidding. I appreciate you taking an interest. Don't worry about it. Irish 50 gal. Good to see you. Just clapping seal. Roasted chicken and homemade bread. I wouldn't trust anything that old bat made. I wouldn't trust it. You would have to fucking heat that oven up to 1,000 degrees to kill everything for me to feel safe for it. Oh yeah, Helicopter Grandma says, oh my God, AB, I worked full time and was on council and I came home at 11 p.m. and he didn't know how to make a tuna sandwich. Yeah, I get you. You sound like my mom. That's something my mom would say because, but I'm saying Malaya didn't work all day. She didn't have anything else to do. She was home supposed to be caring for the children. You don't see MBM making a lunch for DM. She probably went to town to get him what he wanted. Yeah, like got him a Lunchable. Or maybe one of those new Lunchables. How about a Beastable? What is the one that Mr. Beast used to have? A Feastable. That's what it is. Mr. Beast used to have a Feastable. That's probably what he'd be eating. That shit. So nasty. So all of these chemicals trick your brain into thinking that you're enjoying what it is that you're eating, and it's just a fucking chemical. And meanwhile, you're just fooling your body temporarily, not getting any real energy out of it, any benefit to your body. Next thing you know, you start looking like Daniel, like Schmeagol from Lord of the Rings, bouncing around at night, looking at people eating dinner through their fucking patio windows. You'd not even drink a glass of wine from JM? There might be antifreeze in it? Oh, hell no, I wouldn't do it. She's like somebody who would probably try the old, the eye drops trick. The old eye drop in your coffee trick. Hey, Janie, take a look at your own children. How did that turn out for you? You are no supermom. But yeah, well, she just told you that she spent more time around the kids that are not now missing than even their own mother did. That's how bad Malaya is. Well, why doesn't she ever just come out and tell people that she hates her and that's the end of it? Why do you have to go on and on about it? Why do you have to take up so much time and present Malaya as a suspicious individual at the moment that her children are missing and are priority over what you think about Malaya? There's a reason for that. There's a reason that she needs to take up all of that time in her minds and ears and listening to this shit. Well, thanks for being here, Irish gal. I wish I knew, AB, maybe the boot did the print, or it's something to do with their disappearance. Michelle, totally the all talk about the store. So much I didn't realize they said they would talk to anyone in the store. Janie, her fridge is like the store fridge. MBM misses taking them to the store. Well, Jack and Lily don't treat her fridge, her little beer fridge in that RV, like any store fridge. Stickler for Change thinks that Janie did not want the cops to see that her other son Justin had been in the RV. 2 teacups, 2 plates, etc. Interesting. Maybe. You wouldn't think Justin would have been in the trailer in the third bedroom? The empty one that they keep just for their kids? The one that Janie used to be in? It's been brought up before. I guess we'll find that out when we watch the body cam footage. Oh yeah, Diane, you watch Because I'm Not Scripted? Well, that's a good thing. I wish I could be funnier. Explore Core, Janie is old, but did she forget that a new mother will indeed spend more time with the youngest? Yeah, that's generally how it goes when you have a newborn. They require a lot more of your attention, like 24-hour attention in that sense. See, 4 and a 6-year-old you can at least converse with, and they're walking around and can pick up after themselves and can follow you and be there when you request them or need them to be. She kind of did tell us, Darlene said when she chuckled and said she wouldn't tell us what she thought of Malaya. Yeah, she told us by not telling us in that sense. She had to make known that she was choosing not to let her true feelings be known about Malaya. Well, why not? You talk about shit about her the rest of the time anyway. It's that she doesn't want to open up and be truthful with us. That's what it is. It's not just that she's being polite. She's being anything but polite in the moment. In fact, she's playing a bit of reverse psychology and emphasizing that the fact that she's not going to use the word to describe what she really thinks of Malaya as the insult itself. Only when her grandchildren are there, then they go to the store fridge. Right, helicopter grandma. That's more like it. Jupo, even if you hate your future daughter-in-law, what was that really the time and place to bitch about her? Shows much. Well, it goes beyond that. It shows her that she has the need to deflect off suspicion. And she knows that they're suspicious. She's concocting a story. Their mistake is contradicting their narrative because they're stuck to that script, like the one that Malaya was talking about in front of the CTV camera, the one that they told the RCMP. They're all bound to that. Except Janie disregards any of it in that sense and wants to really open up and I'm using parentheses, be truthful, a new truthful about it, which is nothing but an inconsistency. Nothing but a conflict from that original story in which they all are bonded to. They have all distanced themselves from what initially they reported to the RCMP. Malaya is the only one cooperating with the RCMP at this point in time, especially now. Which is a positive turn of events in the karmic world, if you will, when it comes to what Malaya should be doing, not what we think that she should be doing based on we don't see her on social media. That's her right not to be around. Is it normal? Hell no. But this is anything but a normal situation. I'm all ears. I believe it gets 1,000 times worse than what it is that we speculate about in these live chats. The reality is far beyond what we're able to grasp at this point in time because the levels of abuse and control and evil at hand here are nothing that we would anticipate, we would expect. I think this is probably one of the worst that we're ever going to come across. And Daniel's responsible for it. And there's a reason Darren's involved and Janie is a key enabler like Mob Barker trying to run fucking shotgun for her criminal sons. She's nuts. Crazy. Off the wall. There's more here. It goes far beyond just doing somebody a favor. Explore Core, I noticed that Janie speaks of doing much for and with Jack and Lily, except for coasting. So how is it that she was incapable of taking a poly because of these health issues. In your opinion, she is exaggerating her health issues in that sense. Well, she's banging around on a four-wheeler. She's riding around the bushes of Nova Scotia on a four-wheeler. Can't be too bad. She's taking hikes up and down hills. She's rocking and rolling. She's throwing hands at the end of the driveway. She is the epitome of evil. She, as when you were a child and you closed your eyes and you thought about the scariest person that you could, you would think of Janie Mackenzie. What makes her the worst is that she's so willing to lie to your face and do the exact opposite. She's one of those. She doesn't mind lying and lying on the backs of lies in front of anybody's face. It makes her very dangerous and manipulative and unable to maintain any sort of relationships, like friend level, genuine ones. She's a fucking nutter. And you can hear it. We all got health issues, baby. We're all living it and we're all dying. DM and JM have a toxic and so negative about everything. Red flag all day long. Hilo Mama. Darlene, exactly. Explore course, she knew she would fail, so she faked it. Although I bet her anxiety was through the roof. All of theirs are. And they tell you that. All that does is signals to the potential and the possibility and the likelihood that there's going to be false positives. But beyond that, well, why are you guys so fucking nervous? It's a reason to observe the suspects and give them the prepared 12 questions and observe them in a controlled environment so they can go back and have it for their little file and talk behind you. It's not a test that you're going to pass or fail at that point in time, especially when they're gathering evidence. People are assuming that these things are always there. Most criminals want to present it as though there's no evidence to be there to begin with, which is an indicator that something happened, like a stage scene in that sense. It was staged clean, without any evidence, without any logical or rational explanation. And the mystery itself is going to somehow keep them exonerated and free. Not in these cases. Not in this case with Jack and Lily. Norbeaster, of course they're anxious. They are 1-2 more slip-ups away from going to effing prison. Well, I think we've passed the point of no return. You know what I'm talking about? We're just talking about and anticipating the things that they're working on. Jupo, what are you saying? That she did one? It's just that they didn't comment on the results of that. That's right, Jupo. We sleuths. The documents also show Janie Mackenzie Martel's mother did a polygraph test on June 10th. Yeah, and they disregarded the results of all of that because of health issues that she presented, if that's even true or represented well. If it means anything, it means absolutely nothing to the grander scheme of things. They're just trying to establish a baseline. Keep those tools in tune. It's part of the process. Doesn't mean anything. I don't think MBM had the right support there, and she realized after she had the baby, especially brewing resentment. Janie wanted to play with baby boy, needs care, burping, swaddle, bottle, sleep. Meadows a girl. Oh, you didn't say boy. I did. Baby. Yes, you're right, though. Jupo, very odd that we don't know if she passed or failed just due to health. They couldn't interpret. Sounds like a fail to me. Listen, she probably started bawling and crying and carrying on She's one of those that goes into and slips and falls in a supermarket, starts doing the funky chicken and pretends to be injured for money. You know, you ever see those videos online about people walking down the aisle over the CCTV and then all of a sudden out of nowhere they just drop to the ground and pretend to be injured? That's probably what she did. That's Janie. Let the games begin because they're going to. Well, it's already happening. It's already happening. Danny, where are you? Why aren't you on your buddy's channel giving him an interview, making all of this okay? Daniel, Janie, why don't you come out and say something for yourselves? Talk this away. Tell us how this is all just a facade, all an act to make you look like a bad man again in the third person. Darlene 420. Yes, it is, and I'd love to know why she thanked Kent and said he will know what that means. Yeah, she's admittedly speaking in code and signaling to people. Kent's in on the conspiracy, and Janie gave that away. Making old Kent here an accessory after the fact. Geez, I wonder how long they'll give Kent. Oh, Kent. Thanks, Kent. He'll know what that means. He wants to be the center of attention. He wants to garner all of that emotion, public emotion and sympathy, and sell them bracelets and window stickers and make signs and collect money for making new signs, spreading awareness because he's representing Pictou County and all the lobster fishermen, all the people that live in it. He's representing them. He's the only one. Fucking weirdo. You're a perv, dude. You're a park watcher. Playground watcher. What was the date Malaya needed the ambulance to go to the hospital? The anxiety excuse from Janie makes no sense. Was it near one of the dates of the essay? I bet you it was sometime between September 1st, 2024 and March 30th, 2025. So that SA charge stemmed from one instant or accumulated. I guess we're going to find out. You think that if it happened, I shouldn't talk about it. I shouldn't say it that. The SA charge comes with about 15 years to it. And the fact that there's aggravating factor involved that the victim's children are now missing, that would be so suspicious even in that case. That's completely separate from Jack and Lily's case at this point in time, but it's definitely a factor. You're looking at it, yeah, this is what he did, Your Honor. Now her children are nowhere to be found. That's information that is going to be relevant to the case. Not that it's going to bring anything else out. It's just going to be an example about where things are at this point in time. Do you think Daniel's free lawyer is going to try to get them to not bring that up in the court? I don't think so. I doubt it. What was the date Malaya needed? Oh, I'm not sure. We'll figure that out. Explorer Corps is talking to you, Danny and Janie. You want to play a game? Come out and play! Yeah, you know Irish 50 Gal. Mike's a good man. I watch all of his content. Facts and myths. Even if a vehicle burns in a garage, the frame would still have ID on it to track what the vehicle was and who last owned it. Yeah, it doesn't have anything to do with that. Are you talking about Kent and his garage burnt? That's just what they do. You did somebody a favor. Whoops. We got to get rid of some evidence, no matter what that evidence is. But the fact that you had to get rid of evidence is evidence enough. Helicopter Grandma. Excellent recall. We should get more info onto the burned vehicle in the garage. The RCMP should. Helicopter Grandma says SA doesn't just happen once in a relationship. Once it starts, seeing the creep DM is, I think there was a lot more. Well, yeah, it definitely fit into the grand scheme of things. It wasn't just a one-off. Had a little bit, few too many. Got a little carried away with his great fantasy. No, he was using it as part of his overall control tactic. He wouldn't be thinking the same way at this point. Or at that point. He wouldn't even recognize it as such. It's just the way he is. Princess Pillow, good to see you. Sorry if this has been covered, but the photos of the bruised victim look like a photo taken by police or medics. Do we know who took the photo? I don't personally know. You can ask Justin. He might. Princess Pillow. If it was reported, why wasn't DM arrested then? Because she didn't press charges? Because she didn't bring it up? I asked that question way back at that point in time. You know, I had a hard time taking her serious because she got with this fucking guy afterwards. I'm just telling you how the story's presented to the world. Justin from Clutch Them Pearls would know that situation better than I would. He talks to her. I just know it from afar. But I get what you're saying. Valid question. Explore Course says, I knew Shiz was up when the Facebook pages, chats, and YouTube creators protected Janie and DM from public scrutiny. It should have been a huge red flag and pretty obvious why they feared us. Because they fabricate it for themselves. They want to present themselves as an already aligned gang of strength and bonds and strong values and friends. But it's all an illusion. It's all a scheme in that sense. They're scoundrels. They're lying to you here. DM will get his flying monkeys out to play stalking, intimidating, and threatening. What, all Durwood's 10 accounts? He's got a few sock accounts. That's all it is. It's nobody else. And a couple mentally ill individuals that you can block out. There's really none to speak of in that sense. You might think so from time to time based off of a comment or wonder at one point. But I'm telling you, as a creator, I don't have that problem. Yet I know why I don't have that problem. Durwood fears me. He knows that I'm a man that can't be bought. I'm a man that can't be broken, especially by his fucking dirty, chomo vibe-like things. He carries a chomo aura. Yeah, facts versus myths. Possibly. I mean, it's possible. You're thinking more along the lines of stolen vehicles and that sort of thing. Absolutely. Yeah, all kinds of people are probably using Kent like a cum bucket in that sense, as a safe house. Such an upstanding member of society around Pictou County. As if that guy even goes around. Like, this is the fucking internet, pal. You're going around misrepresenting what and who you are. Most upstanding member of fucking society doesn't trim his fucking beard or shave in months. Has fucking mayo slopped all over the front of him from probably 7-Eleven. Walking around in all kinds of different broken down, half fucked up wheelchairs. Trying to beg for sympathy, beg for donations. while he uses rhetoric with a bunch of over-emotional individuals that are approached to help him. Why don't you just go and fucking beg door to door, Kent? Fucking idiot. I can't wait to throw that son of a bitch in that fucking harbor. I'm going to keel haul him on a lobster rig. Keel hauling. Oh, shit. I'm going to keel haul you, Kent. What do you think of that? Cheetos fingers. Nose picking son of a bitch. What a spaz. You know what the best part about that is? I played that so well. Kent, I've got you eating it in the palm of my fucking hand. I know that every time that I say something in that sense, that it bothers him because he can't help but not watch my videos because he knows at some point I'm going to be talking about him. And he takes it so serious. They're so sensitive about their public perception and all of that. So protected. He's such an important fucking dude around there. You're such a fucking poser, a liar, dude. You know, upstanding members of society have jobs, number one, you fucking lazy prick. Okay? You're spreading some awareness tonight? The fact that these stupid son of a bitches thought there were other people in the true crime community that they could approach and win over with their nonsense is a joke. You're the ones being fucking, opening yourself up to being used and misinterpreted. You're looking for a reason. But it's all out there for the rest of your lives. It's just representative of how desperate you guys are for people to believe in your nonsensical story. It helps you sleep at night. You're so sensitive about all of the suspicions being thrown on Daniel and Janie. But they're guilty. So are you fucking guys. Why? We're still figuring that out. That's what keeps them coming back into my live chat, into my comment section with all kinds of new fucking sock accounts in that sense. It's not that it's a bother. It's a little tickle. I even cut and paste all the nasty comments and put them together using all of these terms. Good to see you, Brian. Kent is one fucked up asshole. You got it, Brian. Yeah, absolutely. They all are. Told you so. Told you so, Kent. That didn't take much. Why don't you take the mic and lead us in prayer? Probably see the Lord strike him down with a lightning bolt. Janie's statement reads the following: my dog does not like Lily's loud scream. Just like any dog would not like Lily's loud scream. I can't stand Lily's loud scream. Doesn't it almost read like a Dr. Seuss book? It's like one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish. You know? That's what it does. Man, oh man, she's really getting to the point there. Oh, and she's vicariously living through her dog. She uses the dog as like a shield, like with this shared emotion, and she puts that way she can confuse the listener so she doesn't seem like she's piling on any more than she is. Cheese and rice. I can't stand Lily's loud scream. Now, how morbid and terrifying does that statement sound, knowing that the kids are missing and they don't want to talk? And she's telling everybody that she can't stand Lily's loud scream. It's almost like an admission right there. Is that why you did what it was that you did? Is that your motivating factor for enabling Daniel and what harm we suspect of he brought to the table? If you watched her birthday party, the way she screamed, could you stand Lily's scream all the time? I'm trying to normalize it for you. See, it's trying to relate to you. You would hate it too. My dog reacts. My dog tells me when there's people in the yard. Yeah, like, what does he write it on the chalkboard? My dog tells me when the kids are outside. My dog is really sensitive because he's so used to being all alone here for the last for whenever the kids showed up here 2 years ago. So now what she's going to tell you, what is she telling you? That the dog is suffering because Jack and Lily moved in and they have to move out into the RV. She's admitting to you it's a downgrade. And she's miserable out there. Only she's using the dog. I can't be. Now she's got even more reason to put it back on Malaya and blame her and the kids. My dog is really sensitive because he's so used to being all alone here for the last 20. Sorry, see, she's speaking about herself. She's been there for 20 years. Sorry for whenever the kids showed up here 2 years ago. That's what she really wants to say. Not really what she means. My dog has been used to quietness. When the kids move, when Jack and Lily moved in here, my dog got more sensitive to sounds because of the kids yelling, screaming. So yes, my dog is very sensitive to Lily's scream and Jack's screaming or even talking. I can't stand Lily's loud scream. Isn't that sad? Like, it's an issue. It's a topic to be brought up and talked about. Like, certain things don't need explaining away. Like, when somebody up and makes an annoying sound, well, does it go without saying? You don't have to focus on it. Except here, she chooses to focus on it, telling us it's a sensitivity. She's way more... there's more of a reason why she's mentioning it than just something in passing to relate to us. This is something negative. Anybody watch the video of Jack's birthday when Lily was screaming? Lily was excited. Take a look at DM in the corner with hate in his eyes and look at what he was wearing. Probably the same thing. Unbelievable. Probably the same thing. Same shirt. He hasn't changed that shirt in 2 years. They act like Lily screams all the time. That's right. That was one snippet of a very short video, but they play on what we see and exaggerate it, Brandy Lindy says. Great observation. Helicopter Grandma says 2 children are missing and you are calling them down to the lowest. You know the 2 beautiful children who are innocent and have not been found yet. Makes Michelle Maybell wonder if Lily screamed that Thursday night, and could that be why she also got taken out? That's what I was mentioning just a second ago. That's a great observation. I wonder too. Stickler for change, but her other grandkids came over every other weekend. Did they not scream? LJ Stonehouse. The scream triggered my pit bull, therefore it was just an ordinary day. That's a good point. Combined quotes there. Brandy Lindy, she projects how she feels through her dog. Yes, Brandy, she does. She tells us that through her language in that statement. With that leakage, that slip. The victim blaming by this old evil, miserable hag is outrageous. High five. I feel bad for the dog. I don't even want to go there. Helicopter Grandma, neither did anybody else. It was heartbreaking to know that Jack sensed it for so long, he didn't even want to go back to that house. That's really, really sad at this point in time to know that. Jack knew and couldn't articulate, and he couldn't articulate properly in a greater context because he was just a 4-year-old child. He was young and didn't have the words. He asked people to step in on his behalf by telling them that he doesn't want to go home. That's a big, brave step for a 4-year-old child. That's what rings out in my head and makes me so sad. And I bet you those teachers are affected in a very negative way with this case. Children get excited, they laugh, they scream, they're excited, but I guess you would not know that because your sons were never happy with you and Earl, were they? Guys taking, what happened to that? I just read that statement. Second time that's happened. You guys taking your statements away. Oh, there it goes. Brenda Black, 1477. Logan did interviews where she describes Lily and Jack as disgusting, screaming animals. Then tried to walk it back when people were disgusted with that. Might have been the one with Hidden in the Fog. Brenda Black's mentioning. I think you're right. Yeah, Mike talked about that. I've been trying to find that clip. I think I've heard it, and I'm going to go find that later. Yeah, she's a huge enabler. She's been sucked into all of this. She's shut her fat yap, her cock holster. How pathetic for an adult to say that they hated the excited scream of an innocent little girl who's now missing. That is a you problem, Janie. You bitter old broad, says Anastasia. That's on point. You can get in. It breaks my heart. Daniel's a monster, Callie says. I'm with you. Friends, we're going to shut it down at 2 hours tonight. We'll be back here tomorrow afternoon. We're going to get some supper. Thank you for joining us in the beginning of these Janie readings. We're going to continue on. We've only made it the first little bit, but it's taken up all of this time. I appreciate having the talk with you guys. You know I love you, and I couldn't do this without you all. You're important to us here as a whole on this channel, and I know the reason why you're here, and that's even more important. So thank you guys for spending your afternoon here, and go out and take in all of the other fantastic content and the creators talking about this situation. It's important. Peace.
Ba-ba-ba-ba.